So next for this episode, I'm going to be talking about the L cases. I mean the whole L side. So for this case, for this 6 case, you trace it like that. You put a 6 on your left hand side. You trace from this corner, go around till this edge. Then continue with the bottom. You can start from any piece, as long as a sliceable position. So even back or front. So for even parity, you hold this thing at the back, or you put everything at the back like that. Then you get slice. You set it up into scallop kite. So for odd parity or even back or front, so you put everything in front. You set up into this case. You set up into scallop kite. So for mirrors, you trace it this way. So even back means you put this whole thing at the back like that. So from the top angle, you put it at the back. Then you pair this scallop with this L like this. So for the next case is called 222. So for this case, you trace it like that. You hold one of this pair in the middle like this. So for bottom, you can hold it in any orientation. So for tracing, you start from this corner, go around, then continue with the bottom. So for even parity, even back, so you put this L in, hold this L at the back. Then we'll do this. You are going to set it up into square shield. You do slice 1, slice -2. You see this shield, this L and this L. You use this L and this one to make a square. Then you solve square shield. So for odd parity, odd front, so you hold this L in front. You do this -1, slice 2, slice. You set up into square shield. So for the mirrors, you trace it same way. You hold this, you put up one of the pair in the middle like that. You start from this corner, go around, and then continue with whatever's on bottom, as long as it's a sliceable position. So for even parity, even back, so you need to hold this thing at this L at this position. So when you rotate, you hold the L at this position. Then you do this slice 1, slice -2, slice to set up a square and a shield. Then you solve square shield like this. I solve it like that because it's easier to finger trick. So for odd parity, odd front, so in this orientation, you need to hold this L in front like that. At this position, L must be in this position. So when you rotate, it will be this is the corresponding position. So do this slice -1, slice 2, slice. You set up square shield. Then you solve. I solve square shield like that. You can have different ways of solving square shield. So for my next case is called the 411, 411, and the L. So this is how you trace it like this. You start from this at the top of this L. While you hold this scallop like this, go around, then continue at the bottom. So for even parity, even back, so you put this scallop at the back like that. Then you put this L in this position at the back also. So you pair up scallop kite from the back. Then you solve scallop kite. For odd front, you hold this thing in front, hold this L in front, pair it up in front. So if you get a mirrored, which is like that, so you trace the same. You start from this edge, go around, and go around at the bottom. So for even parity, you put everything at the back like this. So you need to make sure they are at the back. So when you rotate at the back, which is at this side. So when you rotate, they must be at the same position like that. They'll set up scallop kite. So for odd parity, odd front, so you remain at this position. So keep all the pieces at this position, set up to scallop kite. So next case is called 3. So how you trace is from this piece, this position like that, for bottom however you want. So for even parity, since like even back or front, so you put all this thing at the back like that, like this, and then doing this is to help you like set up into pawpaw. This is the solution. So you make pawpaw at the back like that, then you solve it. So for odd parity, odd front, so you put everything in front. So you pair up pawpaw in front also, and then solve it. So if you get the mirrors, you trace from the same position. In this case, is this position, the blue piece. Start from this blue piece and go around. But in this case, this orange piece, go around. So even back, so it means this piece needs to be at needs to go to this position since even back. So you put them at the corresponding position. You just align the L so that you get pawpaw. So odd front, this pair needs to be at this position. Everything must be in front, odd front, since it's odd front. So like that. So you just make sure it remains at this position. If it was misaligned, you trace. So you just make sure the pieces are at this position. So next I will go with 2-4 and 4-2. So here's the difference. One have the pair on top, the other one have the pair on your right hand side. So I start with the one with pair on top. So for even parity, you go this way. You start from this edge. In this case, it's this blue one. Go around. Then for bottom, you just continue with any position as long as it's sliceable. So for even parity, even back or front, so you put this scallop at the back. You slice to pair this L and the scallop to make this pattern, and you set up into scallop kite. So for odd parity, even back or front, so what you do is you put the L at the back, and you just hold the scallop in front and you pair it up like that, and you set up into scallop kite. So if you have them like this, I think it's called the mirrors. So you just trace it the same way. Start from this piece. You start from your slice. You just start from the piece on the right of your slice. If it's misaligned, you still start out from this piece. No matter how it's aligned, you just start from the same piece. Go around and go around. So for even parity, you know that you need to put the thing at this scallop in the back. So you do the same thing, which is at this position. So put it at the corresponding position, then pair it with the L. Like you adjust the position of L, and you set up into scallop kite. So for odd parity, you need to keep this scallop in front like that. So then you pair it up with the L, then you set up into scallop kite. So for next case, you trace it starting from this white piece, go around, you hold this scallop on your left. It's the same as the previous case. So you start from this corner, go around, and then continue with the bottom like this. Start from the corner, go around, continue with the bottom. So even back or front. So if you get even parity, you put this scallop at the back, then you pair this scallop with the L. Then you set up into scallop kite, then you just soft scallop kite. So for all parity, so you keep this thing in front, then you set up into this thing, then turn it into scallop kite. So if you get them this way, the mirrors where it's at the bottom like that. So you do the same thing, you trace from this corner, go around, and then just continue with whatever piece at the bottom layer. So even parity, if you get even parity, you put this scallop at the back, just at this position. So when you rotate your cube, you just put it at the same position, then pair it up with the L, then soft scallop kite. So if you get odd parity, you just keep it in front like that, scallop. Then you just pair it with the pair the scallop and the L. Then you just pair this line, this line, and the pair. Then you set up into scallop kite and then just solve it. For the right one, you start from this corner. You see when you split up the scallop and the line, you have this corner, right? You start with the corner, you go around, and then just continue it for the bottom. So for even parity is normally the easier one, I guess. So for even parity, you just set it up into scallop kite like that. You see this L and the other L, just pair them. So for odd parity, you need to do something called a parity shift, which goes like that. You want to pair this scallop with the L, but you don't want to like pair it directly, which means something like this. You want to make it something like this. So you do this, then you move the L. So for parity, what you do is you pair this scallop. You want to preserve the L. I mean, you put this scallop and the other L in the same layer like that, but don't let them touch each other. Then you shift the bottom by 2, and then you pair this one with this one, so you form a kite. You get scallop kite. So if you get the mirrors, you trace it the same way from this corner, go around, and then continue with the whatever piece at the bottom, as long as it's next to the slice. So for even parity, you just pair this into scallop kite. For odd parity, you need to do parity shift, which goes like this. You pair this L with the scallop. I mean this one, this scallop. You need to preserve the other L. So you pair them, you put them in the same layer like that. Then you do parity shift by moving 2 at the bottom. It depends on like where's the position of your L. You pair the L and this L to form scallop kite. So for the mirrors, for even parity, you just, I mean odd parity, you do the easy solution. Just set up into scallop kite. For even parity, what you do is you do parity shift by pairing this L and putting this L and the scallop on the same layer. Then you do parity shift. which is either 2 or -2 then. So for next case, you see this right paw and the 2, so it's called a 3-to-1, I guess. So for the even parity, you just set up into square shoe like that. And you solve square shoe like this. You see this shoe, you hold it like that. You must make sure that when you slice, you get a fist instead of something like that. So for odd parity, what you do is you pair this L and the skeleton. I mean the paw like that. Then you just use the other L. I mean like the L from the paw, which you bring down. You bring down just now. You use this L and this one to form paw, another paw. So you get paw and you just solve it like this. So for next case, I mean the same case but mirrored. So for even parity, you set up into square shoe. You use this L and this one to set up the square, and the remaining will be preserved as shoe. So something like this. They'll solve square shoe. So for odd parity, you make the shape. You pair this paw and the L together like that. Then you just use this 2 and this L to pair to form a paw. Then you solve paw. So finally, the last case, you go is the one you have the left paw and a pair. You start from this corner, go around, and then just continue with whatever on the bottom, as long it's a sliceable position, which you can slice. Don't continue with this corner because like you can slice it. So for even parity, it's like the totally inverse from the right paw one. So even parity, you pair this L and the paw, then you set up into paw like that, and soft paw. For odd parity, you just set up into square shoe. Use this L as long as you preserve the shoe. So for the mirrors, so for even parity, you need to set it up into 2 paws. By doing this, you make one paw, then use this L and the other pair to form another paw. Then you solve paw for odd parity. So what you do is you just set up into square shoe. So thanks for watching.